This variation of bridge pose is mainly to target building strength in our hamstrings. So ideally, we want to have both mobility, flexibility, and strength in the tissues of our hamstrings so that heel hooks are both powerful and safe. So we want to build some strength so that we can really utilize our heel hooks and pull with our heels, but also we want to make sure that the tissues are also flexible and mobile so that we're not going to strain or injure our hamstrings when we're pulling on them pretty intensely and climbing. So to do this one, we're going to come onto our back and we're going to bridge pose and try to pull with our heels to activate our hamstrings to turn on. So this isn't going to be a big back bend like your typical bridge pose in yoga. This is going to keep a fold in the waist and focus on a tuck through your tail. So to start, feet are just hip distance apart. You're going to come to your spine. And again, so when we are flaring our tails, we can pass our hand underneath our low back. When you're tucking your tail, your hips will peel off the ground and your mid back will stay on the floor. So we're only going to lift the hips a couple of inches rather than being all the way in our bridge. We're going to keep a little crease in the waist, and all the while that we're in this shape, we're going to be actively tucking your tail underneath. So even as you're just being right here, you can feel your hamstrings turn on. If you flex your feet, toes turn towards the ceiling, and you start to pull heels towards your glutes. So again, they're not actually sliding on the ground, but you'll feel the hamstrings turn on. So just like in climbing, we're not always heel hooking at the same angle. We could be heel hooking from here, we could be heel hooking from here, or maybe even more towards our end range limit. But we need to have strength throughout that entire range. So in this bridge pose variation, you can play with where your heels are and feel the hamstrings turn on in various levels of extension through the hamstrings. So initially, start with just both heels on the ground. Tail is tucking to lift the hips. Feet are flexed and pulling with the heels. Okay, if you want to make this more challenging, you could do this one leg at a time. So you might need the feet a tiny bit closer together, but not all the way together, so that you just have a little bit more lateral stability. Okay, tuck your tail, flex the feet, pull with the heels, and then try to float one leg forward. Make sure that the hip doesn't sag down. Try to keep the toes pointing skyward. And you don't have to lift your leg up. We're just bringing more weight into the left leg. So just parallel, a little bit lower. Squeeze with the left heel in towards, or my right heel in towards the glute. Okay, so you can do this from different angles and about 5 breaths in each angle. So maybe a little bit further away, tucking your tail and squeezing heels in towards the glutes. Or same thing with one leg. Okay, so you can kind of go to different angles and be squeezing all the while, but also focus on keeping the orientation of the pelvis the same. So it's not a back bend, you're just focusing on strengthening your hamstrings for happy heel hooks.
All right, hello, my name's Alex.
I'm Aubrey.
Thank you so much for watching this video, sticking it through with us. Hit the subscribe button if you want more updates on future climbing training progression videos.
You can always find 15 minutes to do something that's really therapeutic, really helpful to help your climbing through a simple progression of postures. So that's what we tried to create.
Absolutely. High five.